Hello, my name is Mr. Daycock and I am the Key Stage 5 lead for Mathematics at United College Sixth Form. Here I am going to be explaining to you the different options available in mathematics at our sixth form and what each one offers and entails. The first option you have here is pure mathematics. And this is what people think of when they think of a mathematics A-level. It's got all the basic symbols and algebra and lots of different ideas and new ways of using maths in ways that are really useful in the real world and are used all the time in engineering and construction and lots of different ways like that. The second option is further mathematics. If you really like your mathematics and want to push even further into the different ideas and come up with entirely new ideas and new fanciful ways of dealing with mathematics and even new numbers, and you can produce some very pretty pictures as you can see here, further mathematics is the way for you. If, on the other hand, you don't feel too confident in your mathematics, but recognise the value of it and want to build your mathematical ideas and understanding, then mathematical studies could very well be for you. It is a course that uses primarily GCSE maths, but uses it in ways that apply to the real world, teaching you about taxes and understanding of different concepts and what newspaper articles mean when they use numbers and things like that. So why might you pick mathematics? Well, the most important reason, the first reason that comes to mind in any mathematician's mind is because it is fun. Now, many of you won't necessarily believe that currently, but many of you do. And those of you who find mathematics fun, who know why it's fun, who understand that it's a little puzzle that you have to solve and work your way through to the end and pull out that answer, and you know that answer is right, and you've solved that puzzle, you should be taking this course. The second reason is because you make money. And honestly, that's the worst reason. It's the worst reason to pick mathematics at an A-level, but it is also true. It has been proven that mathematics A-level gives you 10% more earnings over your life, and that has not been proven for any other A-level. Mathematics over every other A-level will make you money. And the last reason, and a pretty important one, is that it is useful. Mathematics, beyond any other subject, is useful in a wide range of jobs. On almost every job out there, it is incredibly useful. So those are the three main reasons to pick mathematics. Pure mathematics is the main course, the main one you'll be thinking of when you take mathematics. Let's have a look at what it's about. So, what are you going to learn about? You're going to learn about calculus. Calculus, which is an incredibly powerful piece of mathematics and used in almost every modern day invention, such as cars, computers, mobile phones. They all use calculus. You'll learn about trigonometry. And you might think, trigonometry, that sounds boring. Triangles, do I really care? But it's not. You'll learn that trigonometry is actually about circles, and you'll look at how circles and triangles are connected, and you'll learn all of the pretty patterns you get from that. Sequences and series. That is pretty much as you'd expect, a series of numbers, a sequence of numbers, where they follow a rule and a pattern, but they get more complicated and more interesting. Coordinate geometry. This is about shapes in the XY plane. Shapes and lines and how they intersect and interact and where they meet. Vectors, which are an incredibly powerful way of encoding information. And mathematical proofs, which means you'll actually know something is true rather than just testing it a few times and following a pattern. You'll know that something is always true. And on the applied side of that, you have statistics and probability, which is about risk and analysis of real world and how likely something is to happen, how often car crashes happen on a certain intersection, things that will save people's lives. And physical and mechanical models, which is about the real world. It's about things that keeps buildings up. It tells you why it's easier to open a door by pushing it on the edge rather than trying to push it at the hinge. It tells you about why balls roll across the floor and why things produce a certain shape as they're thrown through the air. All of this is very, very powerful and interesting stuff. Then we move on to mathematical studies. So this is the one I said that perhaps if you don't feel too confident with your mathematics, you want to give it a go. That doesn't mean it's just inherently an easier course. It's just a course that uses more basic mathematics to approach a lot more interesting problems, real world problems. So here you'll learn about personal finance. You'll learn about taxes and how taxes work. You'll learn about critical and numerical thinking, which means that you'll be able to judge things better. You'll be able to read a newspaper article and go, wait a minute, does that make sense? You'll learn about Fermi estimation, which is a way of analysing really, really, really big calculations with very little effort. You'll learn about statistical analysis, which very much like the pure course is about real world analysis, how things compare to each other, how likely things are to happen. And you'll learn about the normal distribution, which is one of the most important statistical distributions around. And it is used in an incredible amount of biological and technological areas. And lastly, you have my personal further mathematics. Now, one very, very important point to make here is that you cannot take further mathematics without also taking the pure course. It relies on mathematics from the pure course, and so to take further mathematics, you have to take it as an extra A level in mathematics. But I can tell you that it's worth it. So here you'll learn about complex numbers, which, as it says at the bottom, are an entirely new number system. They're entirely new numbers that you've never seen before. Can you even imagine that? You'll learn about matrices, which are in themselves another new number system. Not actually using any new numbers here, but a new system of numbers, a way of using numbers you know in a different way. You'll learn about proof by induction, which allows you to prove things that are difficult to prove in other ways by proving them step by step, but sort of proving every step at the same time. You'll learn about group theory, which is about the underlying basics of mathematics. You'll learn about why multiplication works and addition works, why our number system works the way it does. You'll learn about parts there that you probably never even thought needed to be thought about, and you'll learn and think about them. You'll learn about Maclaurin and Taylor series, which are a powerful way of representing functions that can't be easily represented other ways. And it represents functions that can be represented other ways in perhaps a way that's easier to understand and easier to see. And you'll learn more calculus, which you don't even know what that is yet, but I can tell you that it is even more powerful. It takes that even further into ways that are even more useful in the real world. And again, repeating that line at the bottom, you literally learn about new numbers, numbers you would never have thought existed. So those are your three options for mathematics at A level. You can take pure mathematics on its own, which is your standard course, mathematical studies, which is about real life stuff, or you can take my personal favourite, further maths, which takes that pure mathematics even further. But what careers can you have with it? Well, you can have a career in finance, dealing with money. Unsurprisingly, that needs a lot of mathematics. This can be quite boring, but it can make you a lot of money. You can be a statistician. You could do statistical analysis, and you can be hired by scientists and things who have created a whole load of data and they need someone to analyze it. That can be you. You can go into computer science. The very first computer scientists, the people who invented the very first computers, were all mathematicians. They had to study the mathematics of it to get it to work, to follow through the logic. You could be an actuary, which is someone who uses probability to work out how likely things will happen for insurance companies. So an insurance company needs to charge the right amount. That means that when they pay out money, they still get money back. Your job there is to ensure that they're charging the best value for themselves and the customer. And the most interesting one is you could be a cryptologist.
And this is a person that works in code breaking. So cryptologists were very important during the Second World War and many other wars, where they would break codes that were used by spies and work out what messages were being said. Or they would create the codes in the first place. They would create the codes that other spies could use to hide information. And that's what a cryptologist does. Nowadays, it's often used in credit cards to protect people's money. What about where mathematics is simply useful? Well, where mathematics is useful is everything, absolutely everything. Every single job out there, mathematics is useful. You know, at the beginning where it's the only subject that's been proven to raise your financial income? This is why. Because any career you take, you will do better with mathematics. You'll be able to provide insights that others won't. You'll be able to give options that others won't, because mathematics is useful in everything. So thank you very much for listening, and I really hope you'll consider mathematics as an option at the United College Sixth Form.